May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
I'm handing you State's Exhibit number 157 for purposes of identification. Do you recognize State's Exhibit 157?
Yes.
How do you recognize State's Exhibit 157?
This is a DNA report that I wrote January 21st of 2023.
All right. What is the case number associated for this laboratory case number?
The DCI lab case number for this case is 2020-17232.
Is that a completely different lab case number as compared to the lab case number assigned to the Breasia Terrell case?
Yes, it is.
All right. All right. So then let's just go back. For the Breasia Terrell's case, what was our lab case number again?
2020-16859.
All right. Now, by virtue of that homicide that had occurred in Clinton, was the lab doing a number of different analysis based on submissions that came in through that case?
Yes.
Okay. Was some of the evidence collected in that investigation turned over to Davenport just to submit to see if there was any connection at all with this case?
Yes.
All right. And then as we look at this, what date was this report generated again?
January 21st of 2023.
What type of report?
A DNA report.
Does your name appear as the criminalist on this report?
Yes.
And does this set forth a listing of items that came in through Davenport asking you to test?
Yes.
Your Honor, the State would move to introduce State's Exhibit number 157.
No objection.
Exhibit 157 will be admitted.
Okay. May I publish, Your Honor?
You may.
All right. Now, I'm putting forth State's Exhibit 157 under the Elmo. If you could, let's again go back to the section of the report that gives us a date, who the submitting officer was, and a description of the items that came in.
On November 28th, 2022, A.J. Poirier with Davenport Police Department submitted a Hanes crew-style white medium T-shirt, one children's white medium tank top, and some hairs sealed in tape.
All right. If the body in this particular case was recovered on March 22nd or discovered on March 22nd of 2021, then this report was authored when?
January 21st of 2023.
All right. And do you know when that particular homicide took place?
I do not.
That's okay. When these items came into the laboratory.
Katherine Lizardo, when I came into the show at the last break, I said, unfortunately, there was no evidence revealed of sexual assault. And I don't mean it like unfortunately. I mean, fortunately, maybe she wasn't assaulted. Maybe she put up a fight and she was just killed. But the state believes the motive here was a sexual assault from the sex offender. So how does that affect their motive when they're speaking to the judge about conviction, about why?
Well, it's important for the motive here because we know that the defendant has a sexual abuse background. Specifically, in 1990, he actually pleaded guilty for the sexual abuse of a 5-year-old when the defendant was 17 years old. So that history of sexual abuse comes into the picture as to his motive. Also, when they actually downloaded his cell phone, they found searches involving the demographics or description of Bree as to sexual abuse. And all of that circumstantial evidence leads the prosecutors to the unfortunate motive that, like you said, she might have been sexually abused by the defendant, leading to her murder.
Now, the analyst was discussing nanograms, and nanograms, I only have a pen here, but I wish I had a pin because a pen point is much thicker. But if you took this, for instance, and you did a pinpoint, I'm just doing a pen point here, but if it were a pinpoint, you could get about 36 tests. You can get dozens of tests off that one nanogram. People don't realize what this analyst is looking for. So his testimony becomes very important, doesn't it, that he be careful to try to find some linkage with that minute DNA that he may get.
Exactly. That's why they had to do that amplification of DNA because, especially since Bree's body has been exposed and her clothing have been exposed to the elements of this expert has testified very well as to how the Iowa weather is different in other parts of the US and how it really degrades the DNA that he needed to test. That's why he has to be extremely careful.
Katherine Lizardo, it is just always a pleasure to have you on for the last 2 hours to break down cases with us here on the Law and Crime Network. Great trial attorney again. If you haven't seen her TED Talk, you can Google it. She's just fabulous, fantastic.